Thursday evening. This is your early introduction. Oh.
Saw your face and right away, something inside me trembled tenderly. In your eyes, boy, I could see you'd be mine. Know your mind is filled with doubt, but I'm begging you to hear me out. No need for your suspicion. You won't feel no pain, boy. What's written, we're singing in the rainbow. Lightning strikes. Oh.
And welcome, KLRN, to Thursday evening. This is your early introduction to the weekend. This is Disasters in the Making. I'm Brad Slager, getting ready to guide you through the dirty back alleys and go dumpster diving behind the studios to find some of the worst movies to come out of Hollywood. And we've got a pretty special episode for a number of reasons tonight. First off, we are here at KLRN celebrating Halloween month long with a vampire theme. And so the powers that be reached out to me to say, you guys need to do something on the crap movie show that's themed to such. And so we decided to knock our heads together and comb through the one or two possible vampire movies to choose from. I'm sorry, 1 or 2,000 to choose from. And I think we have a worthy submission tonight. But that's not the only surprise. My usual partner in crime on these ventures, Paul Young, is unavailable due to some storm inclemency in the state of Florida. He's okay. They just called him in to work. That was more important than this show, apparently. So, one of my other co-hostesses has been gracious enough to join me on this venture. Aggie Reekin is in the studio with me. How is everything, Aggie?
Oh, everything is fine today. I had a lot of fun going back to fill my brain with the dreck that we are covering today. Brought back the 80s. It was great.
Yes. If the introduction music wasn't enough to tell you how immersed we were going to be, the soundtrack of this thing was just, it might be the most horrific part of this horror / comedy, actually.
Yeah, most likely.
I mean, one of the things that has not dated well from the 80s are the movies because of this very reason. There's select few films that retain at least a little bit of musical competency, like Axel F from Beverly Hills Cop, things of that nature. But yeah, the synthesizer, the Casio keyboards.
The techno. Mm-hmm.
Holy crap, was that just like... I think abuse is the word to use in regards to the music.
That would be very apt.
I think anytime you hear a movie soundtrack from the 80s, you could pretty much picture somebody wearing a shiny polyester suit coat with a thin tie and playing a keytar. That's just
there's neon in there somewhere.
Oh,
There's
sure.
got to be neon.
Oh, sure.
Got to be neon. Mm-hmm.
Just like I love the music of the 80s, but man, what is Hollywood doing? They literally tried once. I think Footloose broke open and they realized they can make millions of dollars selling the soundtrack. Every freaking film tried to do that afterward. Yes. And as a result, the musical montage became a staple in the 80s. You had to have a 3-minute dialogue-free segment where people are trying on clothes repeatedly, walking in and out of frame, or driving down the road and pointing out sights while the soundtrack is pounding and burping and everything else. And this movie, they actually did it in like the first 3 or 4 minutes, it felt like. It was just, well, we ain't got a script. We may as well try to sell some cassettes.
I think that was the whole point of this entire movie. It was trying to sell the soundtrack.
Yeah, it was
I
like,
mean, now
so
looking back on it, I'll be honest, I was like enthralled with the the 80s vibe of all the homes and everything inside the houses. I was just like I
yeah,
was distracted.
this thing is, I mean, it should be 80s with a pulsing neon sign on screen in the bottom corner at all times.
Oh, it
Just
was. It was completely. I mean,
the
the
clothes, the
clothing.
hair, the interior design, everything was just not the good part of the 80s either, like I'm saying. Not the MTV cutting edge, the Clash. No.
No,
It
no.
is all chess king and cat keyboards. That's what we get for 90 minutes in this. So, what the hell are we talking about? This would be the Jim Carrey introduction to Hollywood, Once Bitten.
Yes. Yes. This was his first big movie role.
And I got to be honest, I was under the impression that this was like a deeply well known film to everybody. And as I'm watching it, a number of people would walk in and like, what the hell are you watching? I was like, Once Bitten, Jim Carrey. You're like, what the hell are you watching? People had not heard about this in my orbit, apparently.
Really, it was a big movie when it came out where I was at because um, Lauren Hutton had just finished. I think she had just finished American Gigolo, and so she was very popular at the time. And so they were actually branding this movie with her more than him. So a lot of people
Hmm.
didn't make the connection when he got famous that yeah, this was his first movie.
Yeah, I don't think he was quite the star power at the time. Lauren Hutton at the
Oh
time,
no,
she was a supermodel for one thing.
yes,
She had
yes,
done, some saucy movies like the Bruce Dern co-starring effort Tattoo that went nowhere, but she was
but she
naked
was
or
in it.
half naked throughout most of the
Hmm.
film. So there you go.
She was
What more
kind
do
of
you?
naked in this one, in a way.
Well, she wasn't fond of bras. I'll say that much.
Yeah,
Her
she didn't
her
need a bra. She was perky enough
no,
as it was.
yeah, she's not buxom, but at the same time, I'll say she's got the proper firmness, I guess, for what she was wearing. The foundation garments were not a priority for her. The
No,
low cut blouse was. The
yes,
plunging neckline was,
there
and
was absolutely no over the shoulder boulder holders involved in the making of this film, where it came to
no,
her. No,
yeah, the underwire technician was laid off once they cast her, so that
I'm sure there was
was
quite a bit of tape
mhm,
involved, but that was it.
sure. The double sided fashion adhesive was certainly employed throughout this, just to keep it at a PG level. Got to draw the kids in from the mall when they're done shopping at Radio Shack. So this film, it's, I don't know. For me, it was always one that it was there. It's kind of like in the distance. I have not watched this movie in decades. Literally. I mean, I remember I saw it on cable, I think, when it came out. I was like, hey, Lauren Hutton's hot. I'll watch that. And absolutely
Of
nothing
course.
about this film. I had no retention of it. The only thing that is even a memory in my brain before rewatching it was the one line where he was in the chair and he goes, I can't do this. I'm a day person. I don't know why. That just, and I think that might have been in the trailers or something. So it just kind of, stuck as a result. But that was about it. Everything else about this movie, I was like, I know there's vampires in it. So let's go. Let's get into this. We start out with Cleavon Little embarrassing himself. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I think he did justice to the role. I honestly do.
Do you?
He pulled
Because
off a Sebastian acolyte. He was her.
sure,
I,
sure.
what would you describe him as? Because he was the butler. He was the
I,
chauffeur.
yeah, he was like her Renfield, her minion. He's been with her for centuries, that sort of thing. So yeah, I guess in the vampire lore, they always have to have that subservient individual, right? It's just kind of
Well, but he was not as subservient as the rest of her minions. He was like her number one.
oh
He
sure, yeah,
was he was Riker. He was the Riker person.
he's her manservant, her secondhand butler, valet, however you want to describe it. The other ones were absolutely useless for the most part in this movie.
Oh
They,
yeah, they were there just to look like the part.
they were place setting. That's it. So the movie kicks off with him flouncing through her abode, mincing as it were. That's why I'm thinking he's embarrassed. Because this is Cleavon Little from Blazing Saddles, the guy that absolutely stole the movie with great comedic timing. And here he just playing a one-note gay character. He's gay, in case you didn't know it. Did I mention
You
he's
get
gay?
to know it later. You'll get to know it later.
I think I knew it after his third step.
Oh yes, it was kind of obvious,
But he's walking through the home. Now, this is the credit sequence. He's basically preparing her breakfast, which constitutes a Bloody Mary and a rose. This would take 10 seconds of screen time. Put it on a tray, walk up to her room, wake her up.
black rose, and it has to be perfect.
Right. It's in theme. But my point is the timing here.
Oh yes.
Absolutely nothing takes place for 2 minutes while the credits unspool because he's slowly and extravagantly walking through the home, adjusting artwork by a half a millimeter because it was just off. Oh, the picture is slightly crooked. Let me use my pinky to straighten that out. And on and on and just went. It's like, let's go. Let's get this movie started here. Come on. Jeez. And he takes his time setting up the tray. Takes him 30 seconds to set up 2 items, a drink and a flower. Done. Get up the stairs already. Come on. Got to draw this out so we can see who the gaffer is and who the executive producer is. Get it? Fine. So he walks in the room, opens the drapes, and then knocks on the coffin. Hey, I'm starting to get a sense of what this movie might be about. And manicured fingernails curl out, open the lid, and there's Lauren Hutton waking up in her coffin. She's a vampire, if you didn't pick up on it. This movie is about as subtle as a snow shovel to the back of the head, just to let you know. So
I thought that it was funny that she went to bed in her workout clothes. Who does that? I do not.
well,
Vampire or not, I will not get dressed to go to bed so I can get up in the morning and save a few seconds before getting on my treadmill. It's just not happening.
I mean, one thing I know is to never question a woman's bedtime routine.
Oh, surely you can question this one.
I mean, you catch a Posturepedic pillow in the face enough times, it's like, okay, do your thing. I get it. True. So, yeah, she wakes up with this, satin-lined coffin. I think it even had crinoline and stuff in it. This is, she's an opulent vampire, let's just say. I'm going to say it, high maintenance.
Very.
And, she comes to, she sips her cocktail and determines that it's the blood of a virgin from the, 1700s or something?
Yes. She has been around for 400 years and needs to drink the blood of a virgin 3 times prior to the last stroke of midnight on Halloween. Otherwise, she will age.
Yeah, this is the setup of our film. As far as vampire conventions go, they take a few liberties, let's just say that. And this entire scene, I just have questions. For one, how the hell is she preserving blood for a couple centuries in order to make a cocktail?
I'm not sure. They never do fill in how she goes about getting the blood.
I mean, she's sipping this and can tell that, oh yeah, this version is from the Appalachian Mountain Range or some such thing, or yodeling in Sweden or something. That's it's she's like a blood sommelier. Okay, if the
Yes.
blood that old, I'm sorry, it's gonna be tasting like pennies at this point. Not that I'm a vampire myself. Full disclosure, I'm just saying that stuff's gonna go bad at some point in time unless you
Yeah,
flash
there's no
freeze it.
way to preserve blood for such a long period of time. Like, I mean, you can for a few years, depending on how you store it, but not for 300.
I mean, maybe she's in tight with a good butcher and has access to a walk-in or something. I don't know.
Uh,
But here's my second question, and again, we're like 2.5 minutes into this film, and it's already screwed sideways. She needs to have the blood of a virgin 3 times before Halloween. She's drinking blood for breakfast, and she
yeah.
acknowledged it's a virgin blood. How does that not count?
Yeah, I don't understand. I guess she needs fresh, like current, maybe. I don't know. From the living,
I mean,
maybe
I'm
what it
playing by
is.
their rules. They're saying, okay, I have to have 3 servings of a virgin blood before Halloween. Hey, this virgin blood for breakfast is pretty good. It's like, oh, boom, you knocked one out right there. You're a third of the way there already. But no, that's not the case. So okay. I'm again my fault for listening to what they're telling me, I guess. So she has to do this. This is the thing. Then we cut to Jim Carrey pawing his girlfriend in the front seat of an ice cream truck next to an oil derrick. I'm
Now, to
I know,
be fair, there were other cars parked in the area, so it was obviously
well,
a popular park
of
spot.
course. Everybody knows if you want to go get laid, you go park next to the oil derrick with 3 dozen other vehicles, and not like separated by 100 feet or so. They're lined up next to each other. They're like the drive-in theater. We see one guy's ass cheeks hopping up and down outside of his convertible. And it is like
There was one
Swinger
that had
Central or something.
she had her legs sticking out of the driver's side
Yes.
window and going up and down. I'm going, I don't know what she's doing in the car. Because
I
you couldn't see the other person either. So I'm like, this just feels wrong.
I was going to ask this question too because I didn't think you would, but I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah.
I was just like, the physics just do not check out. I'm sorry, they don't.
Yeah, just to back up slightly, Jim Carrey is trying to get laid from his girlfriend. She's not ready. I want it to be special. Come on, you're in the front seat of an ice cream truck. How is it not special? But, you know, so she shoots him out of the saddle. He gets dismayed and he gets out of his truck and he's like, man, they can't get laid. And he looks around and every single car is bouncing and vibrating. We see the guy's ass cheeks 30 feet over there. We see this. And yes, this girl has her legs sticking straight up in the air out of the window, which means her ass is pressed against the door while she's hopping up and down and moaning.
Yeah, it just didn't make any sense. I'm sorry, the physics don't work out on this one.
The only
But
thing
I was like,
getting her
whatever.
off right there might be the electric window knob. That's about all I can go with there. I'm
This was 1985. It may have been crank.
I blame this on Dr. Ruth Westheimer.
God rest her soul. Okay,
If
moving on.
you can't get a date, you can have sex with the car.
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't really listen to it.
That was pretty dead on. Not gonna lie.
It's, I think I was the only one in the 80s that was not on board with somebody who sounds like a Nazi telling me to go get laid. It just didn't work for me. Okay. It's like,
I honestly, the first time that I watched her show, because I think it was on like on ABC or something, and she had a late night show. I honestly thought that it was a spinoff from SNL. I didn't
it's
think
just,
that it was serious.
every time I heard her talk, it felt like your great aunt walked in on you while you were doing the dirty. You know, it's just like,
Always use protection.
it's like, Nana, get out of here. I'm doing something. I don't need you. But that was the 80s. We were a freewheeling time back then, and the octogenarian from the SS Corps can extract us on how to properly have coitus, I guess. I don't know. But this pretty well establishes our entire movie at this point. Hey, he's a virgin who can't get laid. Hey, she's a vampire that needs a virgin. We got to get these two nutty kids together, I'm telling you. I sense a bond. They're right for each other. It just feels like it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, it is. So, next, we see Jim Carrey hanging out with his two buddies who work at a fast food hamburger. Is it a kiosk? Food trucks weren't a thing back then, but this place looked like it was in the middle
it's
of
like
a
it's
parking
like
lot.
it's like a kiosk at a.
It was like the
it's
Blue
stationary.
Banana Stand, but they sold cheeseburgers, something like that. And they really drive the point home that Jim Carrey likes his hamburgers well done. They serve him a black one. He says it's not done enough until the entire grill catches fire to cook it,
Right.
and then he's happy with it. Foreshadowing, I guess. I don't know. And his two asshole buddies have to wear this little tiny clown hat on the tops of their head. Why? Your manager is not there. There's nobody just supervising you. Throw that damn thing. Oh, it fell off and I burned up. I'm sorry, boss. Don't know what to tell you. But this is the 80s. It's a teen movie. So, of course, the only topic anybody can talk about is sex. Which is kind of funny. I went to high school in the 80s.
Yes, so did I.
Conversations of sex generally went like, have you had it yet? No, me neither. Okay. Hey, did you see the game last night? That was pretty awesome, wasn't it? Yeah.
At least you had the conversations. I was sitting with the geeks. We didn't even know what sex was.
Well, that's the extent of it. But if you believe Hollywood,
Oh yeah, if you believe Hollywood, every single teenager in 1985 was sex starved.
teenagers were incapable of holding any conversation at any point in the daytime that wasn't centered around getting laid. Either I got laid or I need to get laid. Generally, 80% of the time is the latter. But yeah, first period class, hey, are we going to get laid tonight? What are we going to do to get laid? We have to go get laid. Hey, it's lunchtime. We're getting laid, right? It's late. I'm with sex. The only time you didn't talk about sex in the 80s movies was in a slasher film because you were having sex and then you were dead. So I'm getting mixed messages from Hollywood. You have to have sex. You have to have it. You have to have it. By the way, don't have sex. You're going to die. It's a wonder we came out as well as we did. So Jim Carrey and his buddies decide they're going to go cruising the Hollywood Strip. We're going to go night clubbing in our
And-
members only jacket and an ice cream truck.
And this is the montage for the music.
Yes. So we are
As
we're-
predicted.
We're trolling the street. It's like, hey, we're going to go to a nightclub, aren't we? Hit it, guys. And literally, cue the synthesizer. Shoot me now or shoot a speaker. One of the two. And they're pointing out the sights. Looking at this club. Oh, there's some hot chicks over there. Hey, how you doing, honey, baby? What's going on? And then in the middle of it all is a photo shoot on the sidewalk in front of someplace. There's a woman in a bikini stretched out on the hood of a pink Cadillac and sunglasses, and they're taking her photographs for some shoot.
I mean, at night,
At
middle of the
night,
street. Yeah. Okay.
in a street in Los Angeles, where I've been there, they got beaches. Why are you shooting a beach scene downtown?
I mean, I tried to work that in my head. Maybe this is the only slot open for the photograph session. And of course, there's not enough light out at the beach, and they needed something that was better lit, a place where they could set up their lights. Blah, blah.
But
I
they-
tried. Didn't work.
I backed it up and I was like, all right, maybe they're like incorporating some city urban landscape with it to make it like a hybrid and something or a crossover. She's on the beach, but she's not. No, it was zoomed in on her beach umbrella, beach ball, bikini, car. That's it. I'm at a loss. And the only thing I can figure out is it was the photographer's dad's shop. And he's like, yeah, I'm shutting down at 7. So go ahead and use it. It's free. That's about it. Anyway.
Pretty much.
So they all decide, hey, we're going to go to this club over here, this cool club. This is the happening place, this club. It's a lounge.
It gave me the vibe of a swingers lounge because of the telephones.
Well, I'll say this. We used to have a place here of this nature in Fort Lauderdale. I wasn't able to go because I wasn't old enough. It was called Area Code 305 because that used to be ours before they had to subdivide it. So yeah, back in the day, like Miami is all about the 305.
Yes.
I'll tell you something. I grew up in the 305, okay, and then they took it away from me. So it literally was like Dade and Broward County.
There.
We were all 305 until like 1992 or something. Now I'm 954.
Something happened in Dallas and Austin and Houston. Same thing happened.
Yeah, so basically I can't roll with vanilla in a 9 because I'm from 954 now. Damn it.
You poor thing.
Although I did meet one of his background dancers one night, VIP, Literally at the start of the song, was like, yo, VIP. Met him. We thought it was the funniest damn thing. We were like hanging on him like he was a celebrity and he was buying us drinks and champagne for the night until we were in the bathroom. I was like, can you believe this dipshit?
Wow.
Yeah, my brush with stardom.
Living the high life.
He was at first he was saying like, I don't know about these guys. And someone came up and he was like, hey, are you VIP? And we stood up and we're like, excuse me, pal, back up. He's just having a drink. All right, let's just have sorry about that VIP. I really feel horrible. He's like, no, you guys got my back. That's so awesome. Drinks all around. The fun we used to have. He didn't even know we were making fun of him, and we had free drinks out of the deal. It's my high water mark from 1991, I got to tell you. Anyway, so they're in this nightclub with the phones, and basically the whole premise is you see a hot girl over there. Every table has a light-up number on it. So you call over, it's like, hey, how you doing over there, 14? This is 20. What's your sign?
But not just any phone. It was the lip phone. Remember?
Yes, the hot, bright red.
In the shape of lips. And I mean, that was iconic 80s. That one and the hamburger. Remember the hamburger?
Yeah. And the Sports Illustrated sneaker phone. People freaked out about that one.
Yep,
and
that one.
I used to go to Spencer's Gifts, and they used to have novelty phones there at the end of the 80s, too. You can get all kinds of stuff.
I think I have like 4 somewhere in the house. Just waiting.
Look for Aggie Rican on eBay, and you too can get a 1980s novelty phone.
You remember the clear one? I have that one.
Sure, with the neon in it.
Because it was and it was my phone when I was at home. That was the phone that my dad put in the bedroom that I had with my sister. So when I moved out, I took it with me.
This is going to shock you. You want to know which one I had?
What?
Budweiser Tall Boy.
No shock whatsoever.
I
totally believe it.
The hang-up receiver was on the bottom. So when you set the can down, that would hang it up. When you wanted the dial, you turn it upside down and you have your numbers circulating that button. And just hold the can up to your ear. There you go. Talking to you on my Budweiser phone. That was about the extent of every conversation I had. Hey, Brad, what are you up to today? Talking to you on my Budweiser phone. Yeah, I know. I called you. Yeah, I know, but I'm on a Budweiser phone. You understand? Yes, you've had it for 6 damn months. That's all you talk about. It's like I don't have a personality. That's about it. So, yeah, I love this. They're dialing. Wait, 14, I'm into Tolstoy, and I'm a Sagittarius. And then click. Yeah, lesbian, whatever. Then their phone rings. I'm sorry. These 3 dorks in any place, the only time the phone rings is like, yeah, can you pick me up some chicken wings and deliver it to 17, please? That's about it. But no, one of his idiot friends is like, me? Sure, I'm available. Oh, you mean the guy in the tan jacket and red tie? Is that what? This guy wasn't Bob Newhart. He was repeating the exact same thing she had said.
Mm-hmm.
This is dialogue in the 80s. Oh, no, I am not the one in the members only jacket and the red tie. Do you want to talk to the one in the brown jacket and red? Here. And this was
It was-
Lauren Hutton. She was in
Who
the
was
club.
sitting at the bar.
Now, again, this is me being the asshole, pointing out an indiscretion of sorts. But back at the home, back at her palatial estate, that's decked out like a Miami Vice set.
It was Art Deco revival. Get with the program.
Was it though? 'Cause
Yes,
I'm,
it was.
I mean, I'm into Art Deco, so I'm.
Yeah, there was a lot of Art Deco revival, but there was also the '80s tessellated stuff. The stone tables and the big urns. That kind of stuff.
I'll tell you this. If nobody has seen this movie, I can describe her house perfectly. If you've ever seen one of those Art Nagel prints from the 1980s,
That's what it was.
that's her entire mansion right there. The style of the furniture, everything was that. Mostly white, clean lines.
Yes. I kind of feel bad that Paul didn't get to watch this because there were some interesting lamps in that house.
Oh, jeez.
No, I'm not even kidding. There was one lamp in her room. It's on top of her big screen TV. It's a mushroom lamp, and that sucker is going, I'm not kidding, for about $800 on eBay.
Oh, you mean when he first walked in the room? That was
Yes.
almost like an oblong orb. It was kind of fun.
Yeah. That mushroom lamp is
I was
pretty
partial
much
to the one in
now.
the living room that was it was a white rectangle on an angle.
Yeah, I saw that one too. That one's pretty cool. And
It was
I'm
like
hoping you
smoked
did not
glass
miss. Did you see the Art Deco revival one of the naked woman holding the orb on the mantle?
Oh yeah, that one. No, I thought you meant the big painting of Lauren Hutton with her breasts out. I noticed that.
Every guy's noticed that. It was a spectacular painting, though.
I was like, yeah. We cover art on our cocktail lounge show, so I think I know a little about the visual presentation of. I want a print of that. Can I get a litho? Is that possible? Can we get a frame of that? And also, can you tell my wife why? But yeah, let's just say you didn't notice the gap in her teeth in this particular painting. Is all I'm saying. But the reason I'm bringing all this up, she's got this group of, I guess, minions. These are people that she's fed on prior over the centuries. And they all hang out. Now, here's an interesting tidbit. They all dress exactly like Bitten. One guy is a
Yes.
pirate. One guy's dressed like in the Middle Ages. They
Yeah, there was
exist
a-
in our time. They are very aware of what's going on in the world today. They exist in our realm, and yet they still dress like that.
It's
Please
almost
explain.
as if they cannot change their clothing, and all of their coffins match.
Yeah,
The
but
Confederate guy has a Confederate flag in his coffin. The flower child is a basket with flowers all over it.
but at the end of in the climax of the movie, they're all dressed up in finery.
Yeah, I know
Okay.
exactly. I'm like, so what? Why do you keep? You could change your clothes. I don't understand why you don't.
Yeah, it's 1985 and you're a pirate. I'm sorry. Unless you just got off work at the, I don't know, fish stick hut. That's your only excuse for walking around like that. I had to double at Long John Silver's and I had a chance to change. That's it.
That would be the only. Yeah, but I mean, what about the hoe? There's a prostitute there too. I'm like, girl, I get it, but you can change.
I'm sorry, you're hanging out with Lauren Hutton. She's loaded. Borrow the credit card one day, all right? Go to the mall, get some fashions, do what you have to. Tease the hair a little bit and get some lip gloss. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, she was pretty, but yeah.
But I bring these assholes up for this reason. They're, she's under the gun now. There's a timer. Halloween is looming and I need a virgin. And I live in LA. I can't find a virgin in LA. Moving apparently is not an option. Okay. So they go and hit the road. Now, we see the three of them on the sidewalk, and about 100 yards away, the ice cream truck makes a right-hand turn down on side street. They know instantly this guy's a virgin. Huh?
Yes. But that's what I found really funny was that two of her minions were twins. I'm like, okay, how did this happen? If you only needed the blood of one virgin, you just stocked up? What?
It was a tough year. Back in the 1600s, it was a little rough. You had to have backup then. You had to keep one on ice just in case.
I guess.
But I'm trying to, I think the bells on the truck went off or something, and you see the thing turning away from them. Then one elbows the other guy. He's like, look, there, him. What? At best, you saw
that
his
was
ear
odd
from that distance. That's about it.
and that's what, and apparently they tipped her off, so that's how she got to the bar.
Yeah, we found your virgin. Like, what?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, how?
You're just
do you
desperate
have
at
a
this point.
virgin alarm going on or what? Okay.
Exactly. He's got incel radar from 200 yards. But sure enough, she shows up and she calls him. Now, they're sitting there talking at the bar. She's coming on to him and he's as nervous as can be. And I just love the fact that there was literally a 6-foot tall phone handset lit up against the wall.
Yeah, that was great.
That thing was awesome. That was your AT&T Slim phone, circa 75 to 95, and it's right there, all lit up. I'd be all over that thing. I'd be drunk and hitting those buttons all night long. Sir, quit calling long distance, please. Shut up, calling Liechtenstein, you son of a bitch. That'd be me.
Brad likes to push buttons, obviously.
That's what I do. What can I say?
Mm-hmm.
But she makes it clear that she wants him. Ugh,
And she's very, very seductive in the manner in which she speaks to him. So he's very drawn to her. And not to mention, like you said, the plunging neckline.
Yeah, I think that probably had as much to do with it as anything else.
Considering that's where his eyes went, yeah.
Yeah, she's plying him with her vampire wiles, and I'm sorry. He ain't listening to a damn word you're saying, honey.
Now, this is something that I caught that a lot of people didn't catch. But there's she reaches behind her neck and does something. And then when they're leaving, you see sleeves on a sleeveless dress. And I had a dress like that did that. That you had the opportunity to reach the sleeves up and tie them behind your neck so you could be sleeveless, or untie them and have cape sleeves, which is what she had. So a lot of people were saying, oh, there's a continuity error. I'm like, no, that's the way the dress was actually done. So I thought that was interesting. I didn't see the need for the dress, for her to do that with the dress, because it looked fine without the sleeves, but whatever.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I mean, I'm not, fashion designer by any stretch, but what's the practicality of this?
It was very popular back in the 80s because it gave you two looks for one. And back in the 80s, there were a lot of clothes for women that had like dual purpose, and that was one of the things that I forgot what it was. I want to say it was Givenchy that came out with that particular design. And so a lot of people copied it.
Okay. I thought maybe there was, like if you're out whoring around, I'm sorry, enjoying the nightlife on the town, and then you go into a fancy establishment. Excuse me, ma'am. Well, we need to have you in a proper gown. And it's like, okay,
No, now
tie,
just to make
slide
sure,
down.
I had a dress like that, but it did not have a neckline left like that. The neckline literally just stopped right at my throat.
Ah.
So
Well, then I won't say pics or it didn't happen.
no, there are no pics about it.
I enjoyed the scene though, where like a maitre d is giving you. It's like, sorry, ma'am, I need to have you in a proper evening dress, and it's like, fine, tied it up there, ass. Now give me a table. I'm thinking functionality. That's what I'm asking. But anyway, they hit it off, and just as they're about to, I don't know, agree to conjoin in some fashion, something happens back at his table with his friends. They're talking to basically an old broad. It's about the only way I could describe her. I mean,
Yes.
these are all
Two,
collegians, like
ladies.
freshmen in college, and they're talking to a woman, I'll just say, in her
Oh
40s.
no, they're still in high school.
I thought
they're
it was
18.
college. I
No,
thought he said he
they're
was
18.
because he was studying to get into acid rain reduction or something like that.
Yeah, but no, they're in high school.
Okay. Giving them more credit than necessary, I suppose. But anyway, that's even worse. So now they're literally talking to a MILF. Although I wouldn't maybe give her that title. Anyway, she's that age. And her husband comes in, who is all of about 5'5", balding, pretty much Brian Stelter is what we're talking about here. How are you doing this, Nadine? I can't believe you're... And the kid's like, hey, I didn't know, dude. She's here. It's like, what are you doing here? And he tries to pull out a gun. I guess because he's got too much of a beer gut or something. He couldn't. We see the gun, but he couldn't brandish it. Everybody's screaming, running away. He's got a gun, go. And then the bouncer gets
no,
him.
he pulls it out, and
Yeah.
the bouncer goes behind him and pulls the hand up so it shoots into the ceiling.
Yeah, but he struggled mightily. It took him quite a while
Yes,
to get it out.
it took
It was
him a
almost
while.
like he was a Secret Service agent at a Donald Trump rally. That he had that much trouble with the gun. But then it goes off, and we hear one guy comedically say, no, it's just gunfire. It happens here all the time. Why don't you come over to my table? I'll buy you a drink. And so they all have to get escorted out the back door, she being Lauren and Jim Carrey. And Cleavon Little is ushering them and says, don't worry, we'll take care of your truck.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lauren Hutton says to him, we have to get out of here. Neither one of us can afford to get arrested. What?
Yes, she does not want to spend the night in jail for obvious reasons.
In the slammer.
In the slammer. That's right.
That's a 80s lingo for you folks, meaning jail. I haven't heard slammer in literally decades. But okay. In the slammer. But they couldn't do it. She's too soft, and he's too soft, and she's too she needs virgin blood, and I doubt you're gonna find that in the jail. Just gonna say it. Good idea. So they get out of there, and he actually arranges for somebody to drive the ice cream truck to her palatial Los Angeles mansion. He takes in the sights. She gets him a glass of, I don't know, Chardonnay or something. Because what? Okay. This kid, he's not well versed on the spirits. Let's just go ahead. Whatever you're having.
As she's drinking blood. Okay.
Yeah.
But he doesn't see that.
And now, again, here's the movie. All these guys are talking about and chattering about is getting laid. I want to get laid. I want to get laid. He's got a hot supermodel that wants him. Getting laid. She's undressing. She's doing everything else. And all he's doing is stammering, delaying. We can't do this. I got to think about something else. I got to practice tomorrow. Whatever. He's making every excuse not to get laid in the movie they're trying to get laid. I'm confused. I'm just saying.
That could be because he really does have feelings for his girlfriend Robin, and that's who he wants to be with when he goes the extra mile.
Sure.
However, that most 18-year-old men are not thinking in that manner when presented with a beautiful woman whose painting, which was, I kid you not, at least 8 feet by 4 feet. It was huge.
Told him. After the
It's
show, I'm on
staring
eBay.
at
I'm looking for art prints. Is it numbered or can I just get any? I mean, I just want it. May have to hang it up sideways in my bedroom, but we'll find out. The the other problem is too. We saw her in the nightclub, like vamping on him, using her powers to seduce him, and he's just like, oh yeah. Why wasn't she doing it on the sofa?
I know. It was like
He's like throwing up every shield possible. Like,
the pillows on him, everything.
And then eventually she goes down on him, sucks his blood from his thigh. I think it was kind of off camera, so didn't catch it. But
Yeah,
that's what that was
supposedly
spoken.
you're supposed to get it from the groin area because that is the area of closest to sexual potency, which makes no sense if you're looking for a freaking virgin. Okay.
Yes. Also, knowing a thing or two about male tumescence, like I do. I've read a few books.
You've done some research.
Yeah. I'll just put it this way. I know a guy.
Yeah, okay.
Engorgement takes place as a result of the confluence of blood vessels filling up. And so draining blood in that region would actually have the opposite effect of...
I'm writing this down. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can draw you a flow chart if it'll help too.
No.
Just arrows or such. But yeah, if you're saying you're going in that region for blood in the sake of sexual arousal, you're counterproductive is all I'm saying. I would have said maybe she's tapping the femoral artery. That would have made some sense, right?
Yes.
I mean, you want to get a drink, you're going to cut right into the beer line if you can. Get some draft right there flowing. But whatever. Okay, sure. Sexual, blah, 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 blah. And so the next morning, he wakes up on the sofa, pants around his ankles, curled up in a fetal position around a pillow. He has no idea what happened or how he had fun. And he goes the next day to his friends and, yeah, I had sex. I don't remember a thing about it. So, why did she let him go? Because she needs to tap his veins 3 times before Halloween. Wouldn't it just
You
keep
would
him
have
there?
thought that she would have like kidnapped him or at least enchanted him to keep him in a trance, but apparently no. She just said, "Okay, I'll see you in your dreams," or something words to that effect. And let
Give him a pillow and a sheet on the sofa and have him facing the painting of her naked. That guy ain't going anywhere. All right. Give him some orange juice in the morning and he's like, I'm good. Boom. Got a remote. Screw it.
Considering that she has the ability to charm him into, doing her bidding or whatever, I was surprised that she let him go.
This common theme on this show that we have to make more sense than the scriptwriter. This is just all the time. All the time we got to do this. But it's our thing. So he goes back to school. He's telling his friends about this, and he's such a sharp tool that he's bragging about his night with the hot Lauren Hutton while his girlfriend is standing behind him. Uh-oh. Oops. Trouble.
Oh, dear.
And she gets all snippy and bitchy and walks away. I'm not saying she shouldn't, but yeah.
Well, I mean, this is what she did was perfectly normal. I'm sorry, you left with another woman and you were just trying to get into my pants like the night before. It's over. Okay. I would have broken up with the guy too.
Hey, it's not my fault. You said no.
Which is basically his defense.
Yeah. What else you want me to do? I had a hot slut. I was there. You go where the drive-thru's open. If you're hungry.
But he, because he couldn't remember, he manages to convince everybody, yeah, I don't know if it happened or not or whatever.
Yeah, his big excuse to her was, I was drunk. Except I don't
Yeah,
think I ever
that
saw
makes
him.
things worse, by the way, for
He
those
had
of you who are
one.
paying attention.
He had one glass of Chardonnay. Okay,
Not
if that
even. When
if
he
that guy,
wakes up, the glass is still half full.
I don't want to call him a lightweight, but wow,
Well, he did have a bunch of beers at the bar. There were a bunch
did
of
he?
empty beer. Well, there were a bunch of beer bottles on the table. So
That's
it's
his asshole friends. Those guys are out of control. I meant to Tolstoy and Mick Light, something like that. So yeah, now he's all consternated, and his dad walks in his bedroom. There's like a ton of these disconnected scenes that just are there to establish one thing, and the rest of it feels uncomfortable. So his dad comes walking in, and it's like, "Hey kid, you in here?" And he gets out of his steamer trunk like it's a coffin. Uh-huh.
I know.
Dad has absolutely no problem with this.
Well, he thinks it's odd, but he doesn't
He's upset
question
him. He's
it.
like, "Were you in the trunk?" He's like, "Yeah, I had some sleep." Okay, makes sense. Got it. Who hasn't slept in a steamer trunk? Am I? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, me too. I'm with. What? No. Sit the kid down. He's got problems. You're sleeping in a steamer trunk? Give me the keys. I'm locking it, and you and I are having a talk, or you're going to therapy. But Dad's like, yeah, he was in a steamer trunk. Okay. And that was it. Like, I don't even know what they said. Nothing was communicated. It was just entirely to see him waking up in a steamer trunk. Okay. This is our film. So he's now starting to dress in black because I guess that's a vampire rule. And he shies away from the sun.
And bright light, yeah, hurts him and everything. So
He's talking to his friends, by the way, at school, and his buddy, just to give you let you hone in on the personality type he hangs out with. He's got a sweatshirt on the front that says freelance gynecologist.
that, in my opinion, was kind of a nod to, gosh, what was his name? It was on Teen Wolf. His friend always had something written on the shirts. Remember? I think they were trying to do the same kind of thing, the same vibe, but it kind of failed. I mean, seriously, freelance gynecologist.
Okay.
That is
But,
not gonna fly with any girl.
yeah, I was going to say, I think I'm starting to cue in a little bit here on why he's having trouble with the women.
Yeah, I kind of see why.
I mean, he's got the same pickup line. He's like, hey, we're both adults. Let's do away with our inhibitions. And by the way, I'm a freelance gynecologist, so I'm a certified sexaholic, I guess, is what you're saying. What are you doing? Again, somebody needs to sit these kids down and just have a talk. Listen. Subtle works. Don't do the negging thing and don't do the obvious thing. Somewhere in the middle is how you talk to women.
Well, and moving on into school, you next see Mark, Jim Carrey's character, in a lab, and he is holding the liver of a frog with tweezers. And the teacher comes in and says, "Mark, what are you doing in here?" He's like, "I'm dissecting a frog." She says, "But you're not in this class." I'm like, why is this scene even necessary?
This did not make a damn
It
bit
made
of
absolutely
sense.
no sense because it doesn't explain anything about his state of mind. It doesn't explain nothing. It's just, you could take this scene completely out of a movie and it'd be better.
This is the way it was shot. We have a close up on him, and he's doing something on a rack above eye level. Like, and then the teacher comes in, goes a little bit wider, and says, "Oh, what are you doing?" He's like, "We're dissecting a frog, of course." And then the camera pans, and it's a full classroom of students.
And none of the students said anything. I'm like, wouldn't you say something like, "Why are you in this class?"
And he's like, "Oh, it's not my class. I better get out of here." Stumbles, hits a skeleton. They all laugh, and he walks out. And I'm like, "What the hell is this? Why?"
I will say this. It has happened to me. when I was in ninth grade, I walked into the wrong room and I sat down in my desk, what I thought was my desk, and I waited, and then people started coming in, and I didn't recognize anybody, but I was like, why are you people here? And Daria, one of my girlfriends, was like, what are you doing in here? And I said, uh, government? And she's like, that's next door. I was like, oh my gosh, so they told me I was in the wrong room. So why would this entire class be sitting there watching him dissect something without saying anything? It makes no sense.
It's almost as if everybody else is watching him do this, and they're like, should we tell him? No, let's see where this goes. Let's see. Maybe if he dissects it correctly, I can get an A once he gets kicked out. But again, this contributed absolutely zero to this movie. Take the scene out, like you said, and you have the exact same film.
Exactly. If you take this scene out, the continuity of the film is not harmed in any way. Nothing. It makes nothing.
And then we have a dream sequence that is overly long.
Yes.
There's accordion music while he and Lauren Hutton are in a black and white dining scene, smoke everywhere, billowing around them, white palm trees, black flamingos. All right, I'm kind of in tune with the aesthetic at this point. It's kind of like Halloween in Florida. All right, you got me, guys. He's lighting 2 cigarettes with a silver butt. I was curious.
I know. I thought that was kind of weird.
They're shiny. I was like, are these props, or did you like buy these in Europe for like $15 a pack or something? But he's trying to light 2 of them. The flame is too big. He can't do it. Then she lights it for him, and he gets all while accordion music is playing, and then the accordion music turns dire. We zoom in on Carrie. We pan over, and she has a trickle of blood in the corner of her mouth. And he wakes up.
I will say, though, that I was a little distracted in this scene.
By
the Lucite chairs.
Set designer Aggie Regan was on the case.
Those Lucite chairs are going for thousands of dollars. You people don't understand my obsession with furniture.
Oh, I do.
But when I saw it was really, it was all monochromatic. You saw everything was black and white and silver and shades and gray here and there, but the only color was on her lips and her nails. And then when she started bleeding out of the mouth, that's when he freaks out and, like you said, okay.
He shoots up in bed, and now he starts to suspect, is she a vampire? Could she possibly, maybe? Dude, she's a vampire. Well, did she not show you the coffin when you slept over? In fact, why didn't they share the coffin? That probably would have been the whole thing right there. If he buys into this, he's sold. Boom, golden. You got the guy for life. It's pink on the inside. It's comfortable. There's room for 2. Got to make everything difficult, don't you? So, yeah, he wakes up now and he's having these thoughts, and he's still torn because he wants to get Robin back on his side. She won't take. I called you 10 times. I don't know why that's stuck in my head, but it did. And her friends are like, whatever, and they walk away.
Oh, and quick side note. One of her girlfriends was Megan Mullally in one of her earliest film roles.
Really?
And she was she was the sarcastic one, which is, pretty much true to type.
I missed that, I gotta say.
Yeah,
good
the
eye.
sarcastic one. The one she's the one later on. You'll see her. She's the one when they go to the Halloween dance. She's the one giving them tickets.
Spoiler alert.
Yep.
But we're back in the ice cream truck now. Because Jim Carrey's friends have the ultimate plan to land a woman. The laundromat. I'm sorry. Not saying I was any kind of Lothario back in the day, but a friend of mine comes to me and is like, hey, let's hop in the car. We're going to go to the laundromat. What for? Pick up chicks. Backhand right to the head. Boom. What's your problem? What are you thinking? What? No, because all the chicks go there. The ones that go there are into it. The laundromat. Because women who are cleaning their delicates that are dirty in front of other guys, that's exactly the mood they are looking to hook up in. No. If you approach a woman and her underwear is on the table, she's got a hand in the purse on the taser already. I'm just telling you that right now. If anybody's thinking this plan sounds fertile for your social life, I'm just letting you know. Woman is folding her delicates and you approach her, she's on guard. I'm warning Will Robinson, back away, okay? Go just put down the fabric softener, walk out the door. It's not going to end well. I'm just telling you this. The one asshole starts talking to a woman. She looks like she's 35. Does this pickup line, hey, I'm a Sagittarius. I'm into Tolstoy. Let's get rid of our inhibitions. While she's holding up one of her lace bloomers. I've never seen full waist black lace before.
I have. But I worked at Victoria's Secret.
But these were like, they almost were like crotchless granny panties.
Yes, they were.
Okay. I mean, these days, sure, fine, okay, you know, everybody's freewheeling. We talked about it on the show, how the geriatrics now are infected with STDs these days. It's a thing.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does Geritol get rid of chlamydia? You know, that's what's going on these days. But back in the 80s, no, that wasn't a thing. I'm sorry. So he hits on this woman, and she's like his pickup line that has failed consistently and exclusively throughout this movie. He says it to this woman, and she's like, yes. I want to tie you up. I want to get you in the ground. I want to spank your ass. I want to take, and he freaks out and just boom, backs out of there. Couldn't get out fast enough because again, the guys that want to get laid have somebody that says, "Yes, let's lay. I want to get laid too." No, I can't. What is going on with this damn movie? I've watched a crap ton of 80s sex romps with high school kids. If they can't get laid, they're still trying to get laid. That's the whole, you know, it's like, oh, he tried to get it, he failed. Brr, brr, shaking his fist. One day I'll get that. This movie, they keep getting hit on and the guys run away. What is happening? I'm at a loss here. They're shaking all my established norms for sex romps from the 80s. I think I'm figuring out why this movie failed. I know it opened at number 1, 4 million, did 2.5 times, finished at 10, blah, blah, blah. It lost money, is all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Although I saw somebody describe this as a cult hit.
It became kind of a cult hit when Jim Carrey became famous for In Living Color. And then it really took off when his career took off. So when Ace Ventura came out, that people would have. I remember when Ace Ventura came out, when I was working at Suncoast, we had to find stuff with Jim Carrey to show at the desk out front, the cashier's desk. And that was one of the movies. And I can't recall what else he had been in before that, but there were some smaller roles that he had been in certain TV shows or whatever, and we would put all the cassettes out there, but that was one. And I think that's why it became a sleeper hit.
Yeah, I think he was like a background member of some Canadian productions. Like he was probably the class clown in Degrassi High or something like that.
Oh, no, it was the same thing when with Lethal Weapon, when the third one was coming out. we were supposed to put a bunch of the older stuff of Mel Gibson because they wanted to push all of his older stuff. So, you know, you had Tim, which a lot of people never saw, Coast of Terror, which nobody saw. That was an Australian film. But we had those out there, and because that movie was coming out, people were buying his older stuff out of curiosity, and it was the same thing with Once Bitten and Jim Carrey.
Well,
merchandising.
I know. I think when they called something a cult hit back then, it was on cable. That was about it. Yeah, like people would put it on. They're like, I got homework.
Right.
I'll leave it on. That was about it. Like people weren't hungry for this. This wasn't the
No.
Roadhouse of sex. Someone saying, okay.
No, it was not. It was not. It was cheesy. I mean, I cannot stress how cheesy this movie is. I just can't.
Well,
It's not enough stressing.
and I'll just say this: Ace Ventura, probably the greatest Miami Dolphins movie ever made.
This is true. I will die on that hill with you.
Centered on the team, starred Dan Marino, took place at Joe Robbie Stadium, all of this. I have a Ray Finkel jersey, by the way.
You do?
I love it so much, and my spouse is dismayed when we go to a game and we're walking through the concourse and all you hear is laces out, and you know I have to raise my fist and she rolls her eyes. It happens all the time. I went to Jacksonville. You would have thought that I was on tour or something. Like I got stopped for photographs. It was weird. Made no damn sense. We're watching a Bills game.
Was Anne irritated?
Like when I put it on, I'm in the parking lot. She's like, "You're not going to wear that, are you?" It's like, it's a football game. It's NFL. I'm wearing Finkel. I'm doing it. It's happening. Live with it. We're walking into the stadium, and it happened like 3 times. We're around the concourse going to our seats. And so, like, I go to the bathroom at the stadium, and it's just like, Finkel, laces out. And I got to, yep, gotcha. Hey, pardon me for not turning around. It's just the way it goes. But, yeah, people are like, oh, dude, can I get your picture? By half, this is like weird. It's like, tell me.
It's a cult following.
Said if I'm signing autographs, though, you're buying dinner. I'm just saying that. If one person asks me for my autograph, I want a steak out of this. Didn't happen, though, damn it.
Darn, that's too bad.
I know. Fucking tacos, whatever. Anyway.
You know, she doesn't know what I look like, so maybe one day I'll go over there and do that, and that way you'll get your steak dinner.
Oh my God. Ray Finkel, can you sign my program? I got a fan here. I got to sign a program. Give me a moment here. Who do I make it out to?
She would never forgive me.
She's to the point now where she's accepted I do this stuff. It's you know, it's like, why wouldn't you do this? She's like, because people are watching. It's like I give a damn. I want to have fun. So that's like the ever evolving dialogue in our marriage now. It's just like, but people are looking at you, and it's like, okay, that's up to them. I'm doing my thing here. So it's, you know, I'll sit there in the bar and I start yelling at the television just to have fun and screw with people. It's like they have wrestling on because the guys in the kitchen love wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I start yelling at the referee. It's like, turn around, jackass. He's like, son of a bitch. He's got. And then I'm like standing up. This is why we need video review at WWE. I don't know why. And people are like, what the hell is this? Does he think this is real? It's like, this son of a bitch has just cost me $40. And she's like under the bar at this point. She's like mortified. I live for these moments. It's just, you know. My friends are sitting here shaking their head like, holy shit, they're buying this bread. They actually believe you. It's like, this is what I'm saying. This is the fun part. I noticed we're not talking about our movie.
I know.
This movie, I swear. It's like I went into this and I'm thinking, this is a valid film. This is a cult hit, Jim Carrey. There's like nothing here. There's so little to this. At the same time, it's like, God, you had it. It's right there. Just no. Okay. Well, we do get a flash of the future Jim Carrey when we're at the clothing store where Robin works. He's starting to do some of his pre-Ace Ventura antics for about 20, 30 seconds. It's like, there's a glimmer of what's ahead. I see it. And he's choosing a pair of black pants and goes into the fitting room. Why does Robin keep throwing sweaters at him that are for women?
I did notice that because the sweaters were not. They weren't guy sweaters. The
She's like,
cables were
black
too small.
pants, but he's a vampire now, so he's into black. Again, it's the rule. So he's in the dressing room, and she's like, well, here, how about a little bit of color? And she throws him this, like, teal, light, like...
No, it's light blue.
Yeah, it's like
It's a
mint
light
green
blue.
or something sweater, and I think it was cashmere or something. It's like, this is for a chick. And then Lauren Hutton is in the room with him. He doesn't see it because she doesn't show up in the mirror. She's in his blind spot, though, and she says, she throws the sweater back out.
Speaking of mirror, there was a mirror goof. I don't know if you caught it.
Oh, did she show up?
No, but the reflection, Carrie's reflection in the mirror is not the same as what he's doing in front of it. And you can tell it's very obvious.
Really now?
Yep.
How did I miss
Yep.
this? Probably because I was doing 7 other things and trying.
You know
not
me,
to-
I look for the minutiae and the mundane. And
I know,
that
so do
was
I.
like,
So do I. I'll have to rewatch this now. I'm intrigued because
oh
how
God, no, just jump to that. Don't
How
watch the whole thing.
No, I'm not going to watch the entire movie. I'll pull up that
Okay.
scene. Is what I'm saying. I'm tech savvy that way. I know what FF stands
Good for
for.
you. Good
So-
for you.
But Lauren Hutton tosses this back out the door, and the girlfriend's like, "Oh, well, whatever.
That was
I'll
quick.
get another one." And Lauren Hutton says if she grabs pink, and of course a pink sweater comes flopping over the door, because of course a guy in the 1980s is going to wear a pink cashmere sweater, and this thing bounces right back out the door. Now she's
Hello, it was Miami Vice. All of the pastels were in. The preppy look was in. Of course, he's gonna wear pastel. That's why she. But you're right. The sweaters were. I'm like, those are not guy sweaters.
No, that was chick clothing. I'm saying it. I'm going to be firm on this
It's
one.
supposed to be a unisex store, but I'm like, yeah, okay. We really didn't have those back then. We still had guy clothes and girl clothes. Even the boyfriend jackets that girls wore were not actual boyfriend jackets. They were girl jackets that were made to look like boyfriend jackets, you know?
Yeah, they were cut differently. It's pretty easy to tell. So Lauren Hutton's in there with him. She comes on to him and boom, gets her second feeding on, and he's passed out sort of in the dressing room. And all the while, Robin is concerned, and somehow Lauren Hutton slinks out of there without being seen.
Now,
She's
the
got
weird thing
wiles.
was is that his entire, from the hips down is sticking out from under the dressing room. But if she needs to have his femoral artery, his legs should be sticking inside. I don't understand why he would be sticking out of the. I don't understand that. That didn't make any sense to me.
Also should be sporting a wound of some sort since she
Yeah, there
just
should there
fed
should have
on
been
him.
blood somewhere.
But no, you can't do that. So moving on. At this point, Jim Carrey and Robin have somewhat reconciled. You know what? I don't even know what the hell Jim Carrey's name was in this film.
Mark
Got it.
Kendall. Dude, minutiae.
No, I absolutely I blanked on it. That's what I'm saying. It's like there was so much. I was focused on like when the movie basically displayed to me that the plot didn't matter. Then I didn't care about the plot either. I was watching all the other stuff going on. I was into the antics. Is what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
well, it was Mark. Robin was his girlfriend. Russ and Jamie were his friends.
Yeah. I got
Sebastian
IMDb
was
too.
the butler. Huh?
So they're somewhat reconciling now. And they have the big school Halloween dance coming up. because again, this is the 1980s sex romp, and a high school dance was almost mandatory in most of these films back then. I went to high school, full disclosure. School dance was just not that big a deal for us. And this wasn't even homecoming or prom or anything of the sort.
No,
It was the Halloween dance. And every single student showed up. And just like in Hollywood, every single student has a Halloween costume that was made by a studio.
Yeah, I thought I had gone to previous. I'm very famous for my Halloween costumes because I've always gotten into the whole what can I do with as little as possible that I have to buy, and most of it is at home, right? So I had to be very frugal. But when we went to Halloween parties or there was a Halloween dance at the school, most of the costumes that were homemade, you could tell they were homemade. I mean, they were still pretty good, but you could still tell that were homemade. They weren't like this at all. I'm like, there must be a rental place that they were all getting their stuff from because
Yeah, I mean, Hollywood school dances are always outfitted by like a complete costume department. Like in this one, there was a girl that was dressed as a domino. Lame costume. I'm talking lame costume choice. The costume itself had to cost a couple $100 damn. Like it was a very good domino. Stupid choice, but good execution is what I'm saying, because she got outfitted by a Hollywood studio. Ain't no kid in high school dressing like a domino looking that good is all I'm saying. So we're at the dance and blah, blah, blah. It's all happening. And Robin is a bit of a hoofer, huh?
yeah,
This girl, she's got the chops for Broadway is what I'm saying. I mean,
it's really funny because when I saw her again, I was like, oh my gosh, she was the bad guy in a Perry Mason movie, and she's done some Broadway shows, and she's done this and she's done that. I was
see, because the whole time she's just like dressed in not quite mousy outfits, but just very downplayed college, sweaters, and she's just like, oh, okay, whatever, Mark, but we can do this too. That's fine. She's at the dance, however, and all of a sudden she's Twyla Tharp. Like, she's got gams, she's got a tight bod, she's got moves like crazy. It's like, where the hell did this come from? This wasn't like the Ugly Swan high school story. She was a nobody, and now she's like, bam. Well, since this is a high school dance, of course the 400-year-old vampire shows up. Right? Back in the day, school security was non-existent. So sure, a predatory cougar can just show up at a high school dance and just, where's the football team? Him. I'm on him. This could happen, apparently. So Lauren Hutton comes in and keys herself on Jim Carrey because she needs that third feeding now. It's almost Halloween, damn it. Robin ain't having it, though. How do we solve this problem, Maggie? How do women in the 1980s solve their problems?
they have a dance off.
They have a dance-off. This is how female conflicts were resolved back in the day, I'll have you know.
Okay, now I will be the first one to say it actually worked in Grease, but Grease is a musical. And that was the whole purpose of that dance, and when Cha-Cha gets in there and takes Danny away from Sandy, that kind of thing. Okay, yeah, I see that working. But this dance-off was not taking Jim Carrey away necessarily. It was just to see who danced better with him. And then they got into a dance-off cat fight, which was even weirder. They were fighting as they were dancing. It was so bizarre.
I think the United Nations would be a lot more streamlined if this were the methodology of resolving global conflict. Somebody from the Congo is upset because their water rights were taken over. All right, I need two of your representatives on the floor. Let's resolve this right now. What do we have for an aqueduct skirmish? What kind of music do we got to play for? Yeah, so the two of them are just dancing away. And sorry,
And
Robin.
slowly, and it was weird because Robin decides to like start undressing to compete with her.
Well,
And she undresses down to her leotard and a lace skirt. And when I say lace skirt, it's a skirt that's made from one sheer lace panel. Okay.
I was there for it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm sure you were.
I was like, damn, Robin, where you been all movie? So they have their hardwood conflict taking place, and Robin comes out ahead and she gets her man. And Lauren Hutton has to scurry off for some reason. I don't know all of the rules of dance off. I should probably research this before the show. How a dance off is resolved and a winner is declared. I missed that. But Lauren lost. She slinks away.
But not before pushing the girl that looks like a nun.
Yeah, she's on her way out of the gym. Boom. Something she also did at the store. Remember, she was walking out and
Yes.
she knocks the old lady down. I was like,
What the hell?
sorry, why are we?
She wasn't even in the way.
Yeah, she like took a couple steps to the side to reach her. And was like, that's it, Granny, you're going down. You in the sweater. Boom. Okay. It seems to be a thing with Lauren Hutton. She's not getting her way.
No, she's mad.
Also, I want to point one thing out about the costumes. His one buddy dressed as Yul Brenner. He said those words out loud. Like, I looked at him. He was like a toga dude with a skull cap. And it's like,
He was supposed to be something else, but one of the pieces for the costume didn't get in on time, so he decided to go as Yul Brenner. It's like, what?
he's one of the headline characters, and he's the worst one dressed in the place. So he's got like this
Yeah.
sort of toga on and a skull cap, and it's like, are you going to sperm? What are you going for here? Well, I'm Yul Brenner, of course. At a high school dance in the 1980s, I think Brenner was dead by that point, wasn't he? Or at least I'm pretty sure his anti-smoking ad had come out by that point. Okay, Yul Brenner. I'm just gonna I'm gonna put 50 on the table on this one. I'm gonna lay the chalk. He ain't going home with a date after this dance.
No. No.
Just, that's where I'm throwing my hard cash right there. So this takes place. Now Lauren Hutton's got to come to a resolution. What the hell is she going to do? Deadline's approaching. Only thing left to do, kidnap Robin.
Because that will force Mark to come to the house to save her.
Now I get it. Now I'm onto her wily plan. So you're saying Robin was bait.
Robin was baked.
Got it. Oh, man. Well, you know what? It makes sense. She's a 400-year-old vampire. Of course she would use 400-year-old tactics.
Exactly.
So, yes.
Instead of actually just going and taking the guy and saying, I'm just going to suck your thigh. No, she has to go the long way and kidnap the girlfriend.
The initial feeding on this guy was the easiest thing in the world. She went to one bar, got him, took him home, done, fed. The rest of the movie.
The second one was also easy. She tranced him and then sucked him in the dressing room.
Sucked them off in the dressing room. You could say it. I'll say it for you. How about that? Not a euphemism. It's what happened, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, the third time we have to have this long, drawn-out, extrapolated plot. So the three of them, the guys, are going to sneak up to the mansion in the ice cream truck, which nobody will see coming.
Jingles.
Here.
It jingles every time you drive this thing.
Yeah, it can't take a quarter without the bells going off in this dumbass truck. But Okay.
I mean, you would think that they would figure out how to turn off the jingle, but apparently they never did.
They break in through a basement window, and Robin's right there. It's like, all right, unhook her and go. Why aren't you right at? No, of course not. Then everything has to happen. Lauren Hutton's there with her minions, now all dressed in black tie and dress for some reason. And it's a ceremony, and the guys are there in their hamburger outfits. And Robin's there, and they're holding them all hostage while they compel Jim Carrey, using her wiles, into the chair. Now, this entire scene, she's got the goods on him. Like every time he turns and tries to walk away, she just vamps him, and he like collapses, and he's drawn back to her. Could have done this the entire movie, I'm just saying. But then again, we wouldn't have a movie.
There would be no movie.
You make that sound like a bad thing. So this was about the only thing in this movie I actually liked. They had this apparatus that was covered up in black veiling, which they then used sticks, held it up to expose the strap down chair. But then as they put this on the wall, it's in the shape of a bat.
Yes, I thought that was
Aaron,
awesome.
Kudos to the set designer on this one.
Yeah,
All right.
they nailed that one.
Finally, something I can hang my hat on with this film. That was cool. So they strap him down, and that's when he has his line. He's like, I can't do this. I'm a day person. Applause, a comedy bit line in a comedy. How rare.
There were a couple of good lines throughout the movie. I mean, when she's walking into her bedroom and she's looking for Sebastian, she finally tells him to come out of the closet, and he opens the closet and says, I came out of the closet a long time ago.
Yeah,
That was actually pretty cute.
yeah, but he made that joke in the first act.
Yeah, I think he made it twice.
He's like, coming out of the closet. Oh, because you're gay. I get it now. It's funny, but I'm not allowed to laugh because otherwise I'd be a homophobe. So, oh, there we go. Whatever. That's the way we are in this world any longer. So they strap him down, but then, this is again where I'm sure the scriptwriter thought he was being extremely clever, but when you step back and think about it, it's like, this is really dumb. So again, this is like all a ceremony. Her final feeding, it's a big event. They're dressed up, and there's candelabras all over the place.
I have a question about that, but it'll come later.
Robin and the guys break free from they were being held, so whatever. All it took was like, and they're free. And then they grab the candelabras and they use them to fend back the vampires. Fire! The vampires were the ones that lit the damn fire.
Exactly. If fire is bad and can hurt you and kill a vampire, why have it near you? Why go through that? The entire house had beautiful lighting. You did not need the candles.
I mean, you guys set this up, so how are you freaked out about it? I mean,
yeah, that was my main question. Why have that?
Granted, the butler maybe lit him. I'll go that route, but you're still standing about 4 feet away from him. But now if it's 3 feet, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. Get away. Well, they got away. So they unsheath him. They make their long, ponderous chase scene through this mansion. And after visiting a bookstore, Robin has come to the conclusion of how to save her boyfriend's life. Sex. So she's in a used bookstore, and this guy takes her to the occult section. He's like, oh no, you see, the vampire, the female needs to eat virgin blood in order to stay young. So that's how they survive. They eat the virgins. And he's ready to go off on about a 15-minute soliloquy. And that's when Robin's like, I have to go get laid now. And she just, darts out of the bookstore. So, defying the convention of every other teenage movie in the 80s, have sex and die, now they have to have sex in order for him not to. And by having sex, it not only breaks his vampiric spell, but now it makes Lauren Hutton turn old instantly because the Halloween deadline has arrived. And we watch her desiccate before our eyes. At which point I'm thinking, where's your damn butler? Send him upstairs for one of your blood cocktails and put an end to this right
That
now.
had exactly. I was like, the weird thing was that the reason that she ran out of time being that Robin and Mark decided to have sex in the coffin. And of course, she was pretty snide about that. All right, maybe you had time, but you didn't enjoy it. So she has to be bitter to the end. But there was virgin blood upstairs.
Yeah.
Why didn't you run to get it? I don't understand.
Tell your valet to hump up the stairs, crack out the shaker, and put together one of your medieval virgin daiquiris.
And
Literally.
as she's growing older, she's calling for a plastic surgeon. She's like, "This is so not fair," and I'm like, and I'm still watching the transformation, and I'm like, the makeup guy did not get paid enough because she still looked pretty. So,
Wasn't that always the goal of every woman, to die with a pretty corpse?
that's right. Mine's gonna be like complete wreckage. I mean, whatever.
Oh,
But
please.
most women, I'm
You're
not
going to be
even
a
kidding.
porcelain goddess in the coffin.
My mom has expressly told me that when she passes away, I have to make sure that her hair is dyed correctly. She will not go into that coffin with grays. No, no roots.
Damn, that's going to be a morbid trip to Walgreens.
I am not happy about this.
No, I'm just, wow.
I'm like, how could you ask me that? She's like, because you're the only one I trust to go ahead and do that. I'm like, yes, because I will not say no. I get it. I don't say no to people. I get it. So she's taking advantage of me.
Yeah, I'm hire somebody is my recommendation here. I'll loan you the money.
I mean, admittedly, my mom is 78, but she's still, her doctor says she'll easily make her century. And I'm like, really? But she's picked out her outfit. She knows what she wants to take with her in the coffin. I'm like, your body's not going anywhere. Why are you putting shit in there?
Wow.
I'm like, whatever, mom. But she's adamant. I have to make sure that her hair has no roots. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this, but nobody else is going to do it. So it falls to me.
Wow. Yeah. I'll buy you a Sharpie.
I was thinking of getting that root touch-up spray that L'Oreal makes and giving it to the mortician.
I thought you were going to say the one that was on the infomercials back in the 80s.
Same concept.
Ron Popeil's hair in a can.
But she's still upset about my hair. She's like, you cannot have gray hair because I dye my hair and then people know that I dye my hair. I'm like, Mom, they're going to know you dye your hair anyway. Even if I dyed my hair, they're going to know you dye your hair too.
Well, that pretty much sums up our film for Halloween. Our vampire effort, Once Bitten. Lauren Hutton died.
Well, no, she just grew old. And then Sebastian took her upstairs and decided, well, I will take care of you. Don't worry. I will get you something to drink, blah, 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 like a little old infirm lady. And he kept telling her, there are other virgins that we can find. So apparently it's not a permanent thing. She just has to, but for the whole year, she'll be old until she finds a virgin whose blood she can drink 3 times before the end of Halloween.
And, this is the other problem with the film, too, is the minions that are hanging around the house. These are people she's fed on in the past that are virgins. Why doesn't she have 400 of them in her house?
Well, yes and no, because I cannot say that the British hooker was a virgin.
Yeah, exactly.
The other ones maybe, but not her.
Yeah, maybe don't go to the strip club for that particular strain of
No.
plasma that you're looking
But
for.
then, and here's the weird thing. It's like, they go back into the coffin to to have sex, and I'm like,
Hmm.
who has sex in a coffin? Okay, first of all, yes, there's a kink for everything, and I will not judge anybody for it, but there's no maneuverability.
It was their
A
first
coffin is
time.
literally built for one person.
It was significant. It was their first time. They were just revisiting.
I,
They were
I
honoring
guess
the
I don't
first
know.
time they ever had sex 15 minutes ago.
Whatever. It was an atrocious movie, and I'm glad it's over.
Well, all right, Aggie. Thank you very much for sitting in and rescuing Paul and the show. So, why don't you let everybody know where they can find more of your content and magnificence?
You can find me at Aggie Regan and at Aggie the Barkeep over on X. You can find me 8:30 p.m. Eastern Tuesday nights during the Cocktail Lounge with the Everswap View. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Friday nights doing He Said, She Said with the awesome Rowdy Rick. Last Wednesday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern, the guys get together to discuss toxic masculinity, and we host a Babe of the Month that I bring the drink of the evening. And last but not least, Jeff and I now have a book podcast that premieres the first Monday of every month, also at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, also known as Aggie Time. And what about you?
I am seen daily over at townhall.com, where I have my daily media column there called Rift from the Headlines. I'm also on the front page on a regular basis at Red State, where I also have my twice weekly podcast called Liable Sources, diving even deeper into the muck and mire of the mainstream media. And you can hear more of me on this very network. Next Thursday, I'm here with Wardy Packard. He and I guide you through all of the important entertainment information on the culture shift. And as Aggie said, every Tuesday evening at 8:30 on the Cocktail Lounge, where we give you all the important leisure activities. And if you need more of me than that, let's face it, you do. Head over to Jitter. I am at Martini Shark. All right, Aggie, thank you once again for the saving grace of your presence tonight. And we are going to be back in 2 weeks. Paul and I will be diving into another wreckage of a film. He's got something special he won't tell me about, which means, frankly, I'm scared. So we'll find out what that's going to be all about in 2 weeks here on Disasters in the Making.